by asking the questions who, what, where. Who is the person of interest, who is the suspect. You then start to collect information about any companies that the suspect controls, any individuals in that same orbit, employees, former employees, business partners, spouses, ex-spouses, customers, vendors, and go out and interview them, all of them, as many as is practicable. And you have to do it slowly, gradually, so as not to alert the suspect. That takes care of the who and, in part, the where. Now, how do you obtain the financial records? If this is a civil proceeding, then you can send out letters to the banks and say, we have a judgment, or your customer may have funds on deposit that he or she is not the beneficial owner of. And this is why we say so. If you ignore this letter, then you may be facilitating a crime. Please freeze these assets. Please provide us with statements for the following period for this account. So that would be step one. Then you go into the financial analysis process, and it then becomes iterative as you look for different accounts. There are other information gathering techniques that you would have to use for business records. If this is a disclosed investigation where you can demand the business records, that's great. If it's not a disclosed investigation, then we're talking about physical surveillance. Electronic surveillance is not legal in the private sector, so I would say don't do that, because then you as an investigator are liable for criminal trespass. You can, in your surveillance of the person's home and business, you can take out the trash, so to speak, because personal and business trash usually yields lots of information about accounts and relationships and other entities. There are a lot of online databases that are either free or are subscription, and they provide a tremendous amount of information as to the existence of assets. And these are primarily real assets, properties, aircraft, boats, automobiles. Also, they can disclose connections with various organizations, businesses, not-for-profits, and so on. So first and foremost, you can potentially attach someone's home or vehicle or aircraft, whatever. As far as finding out or doing something with the information relating to organizations, you can make an inquiry of that organization. You could possibly send a letter saying that you want to garnish wages. There are other opportunities like that. You can also do a search of private letter stock deals. So if you bought into a private equity deal, the general partner typically has to register those, even though it's not a registered security for sale to the general public. You as a qualified investor, it still has to be listed, so that's something else that you might be able to reach out to. Frequently, documents are scanned, and they're scanned poorly, and as a result, they're not machine readable. If you get high quality scans and high quality PDFs, it's possible to pull the data right off the PDF into a machine readable form. Because of the volume of the transactions, you need to come up with a meaningful way to present it. And I'm finding that the attorneys like it when I make 50,000 lines of data into a pivot table that's only 15 or 20 lines long, but then you can expand it to show the various components of what was purchased. A pivot table in Excel is basically a chart, and every cell in the chart, if you click on it, it would expand to show everything that's in that particular category. For a given year, one fraudster had spent $829,000 on her American Express card. So you open that up, and it then goes to business and personal. And there were only $345 spent on business, and then the personal was $800,000. And then you expand the personal by category, and you can see that there was $100,000 spent on lodging and another $100,000 spent on show horses, $200,000 spent on clothing. And then if you click on show horses, that would expand and you could see all the purchases she made to specific vendors in that category. And it makes for a very concise presentation, and it's also very good at trial. You can keep opening it and opening it, or maybe it's like those little Russian nesting dolls, because there's just more detail.